During this information broadcast, we're going to take a look at performance acceleration and why it's needed within an organization, as well as some of the changes in structure that are required in order to get the level of performance gain or the pace of performance gain needed by most organizations to stay competitive. What we're looking at is a better approach to organizational performance, just like the high jump, where there was the scissors and then the western roll and then the straddle and the Fosbury flop, and each one of those methods achieved a higher level of performance, and the old method really left you at a competitive disadvantage. The world is changing very fast for business these days, and the challenge of how do we stay relevant really is about getting better faster. In the same way that there was a new method for jumping the high jump, getting better faster really is what's the next method, what's the next approach, how can we do this in a way that we actually are getting better faster, and it's really a very, very broad concern about the organization. So, if you look at your competition, and most people that are running organizations are worried about the competition, they have a certain pace at which they improve things. And what we want to help you do is get your pace ahead of your competition's, which creates a competitive advantage. So how do we do this? What's the focus? 3 things that allow you to get better faster are identifying and solving the right problems and doing it faster, which is change acceleration. Second one is developing your people faster, which is a competency acceleration. And the third is improving products and services faster, which is innovation acceleration. We believe that getting better for the most part is an ignored discipline within organizations. If you can see on the chart here, you've got sort of the daily grind, the urgent, the busy work, getting the stuff out the door, doing what you've got to do to make the business succeed. And there's a small part of your time that you've got for getting better. That is what we focus on, is that small amount of time for getting better, organization-wide. How well is it organized? How is it coordinated? How many things can you do in parallel? Can you get more parallel activities happening and get more of that limited time that you've got? And that's really what we help organizations structure. And that's what we're going to show you with the 5D framework, is how it accelerates the getting better discipline. 3 types of challenges that organizations have. You have the organization that's in decline, and one of the challenges of the CEO is to actually take those people, that organization, get your people to wake up and say, we can't stay the same. We can't be continuing in decline, and sort of to light a fire and say, it's time, guys, to rally around making this a better company. We cannot continue in this state of decline. There are other organizations, very different, where they're just performing fine, and they're in sort of a steady state. They're not declining, but they're not getting better. And that is, in my mind, it's a crisis too, because not getting better is, over time, becomes, your competition is getting better, and over time it really becomes a challenge. So you've got to light a fire and say, we can't just continue on the way we are, because we're going to become obsolete. The other challenge that a lot of people don't think about as a challenge is the whole idea where you've been growing like crazy. And you've got the world by the tail, and you're running around and just busy, busy, busy. Well, a lot of times that busyness means you're not building the organization to handle growth. And there is a challenge. We can't just grow and not develop ourselves and not develop the talent to handle the growth. So almost no matter where you are in decline, steady state, or growth, the challenge is lighting a fire for getting better and changing the pace at which you get better to where it is significantly. This urgency for change, is it clear? Is it articulated? Who understands it? And who's involved in driving performance improvements into the organization? The other one is the need for change. It can be done in a way that creates fear, which drives creativity out of your people. It can be done in a way that creates hope and say, hey, if we work together, we can really accomplish something here. High-performance organizations need to be driven on hope, not on fear. We have found there are several things that really matter when it comes to if you're trying to accelerate performance of an organization. The first one that is really, really important is organizational health, and we believe it's an essential foundation for performance advantage. We will be talking about that in some detail. Adaptability is really trying to achieve a balance between a steady state, which needs to execute over and over again things that you do repeatedly, and adaptability, which is the future state, is how do we put in place things that we haven't been able to do in the past, something new, and get it in place. So that tension, that yin-yang tension between stable and adaptability. We talk about ownership because we think it is one level above engagement. It's when your employees really own the success of the company. They are grabbing a hold of the challenges and tackling like it was at the center of their own purpose, what they're trying to accomplish. It's at they've grabbed a hold of this with all their hearts, as it were. So employees owning your challenges and tackling them with an aggressiveness. Then there's collective intelligence. Can you put people together in groups and have them become far more intelligent than they are individually? A lot of times you put them together and they become less intelligent, but you want to be able to have teams of people engaging in challenges and becoming far more intelligent than they are just operating by themselves. And together that creates your development pace. It's figuring out the structures and the systems for how to get better in a way that really works for you. So those are sort of the 5 things that we think really matter in an initiative where you're trying to develop an increased pace of transformation. The Work Systems 5-dimensional framework was developed to enable a much more powerful, accelerated, and a coordinated approach to improvement within organizations. This video is part of a series of videos that explain how the 5D framework makes this accelerated, innovative improvement of business possible.